There's a lot of people out there that say that drinking draft beer is the best way to enjoy beer. But at the same time, there are many that will only drink beer out of a bottle, even when they're out in a bar. And I think that's probably due to them having some not so great experiences with draft beer out in bars. The last 20 feet of the journey from the keg to the customer's glass is quite possibly the most important part of the journey of a glass of beer. An awful lot can go wrong during that time. Just think about it. The beer's coming out of a stainless steel keg where it's been filled aseptically in the brewery. It's been refrigerated through its entire life from the brewery dock to the cooler of the bar through the wholesaler network. And then it's hooked up with a fitting that connects the keg to a plastic line which travels 20 feet through a tortuous path underneath some floorboards, up and over some shelves, up to a cooling tower where it sits behind a faucet, which when opened allows it to flow into the glass. There's an awful lot that's going on there. There is the need to keep that line sanitary and clean. There's a need to keep the pressure in the keg high enough so that it pushes the beer through that plastic line. There's a need to keep the pressure in the keg not too high so it doesn't overcarbonate the beer in that keg. There's a need to slow the flow down when it gets to near the end of the pipe. There's a need to deliver the beer out of the end of the faucet at a speed enough that it foams up in the glass and creates a nice head on the beer when it's being served. So this draft system has to be built with a lot of care, a lot of attention, with attention being paid to pressures, with attention being paid to temperature, and attention being paid to the ability and easiness of cleaning the system as well. There is a period of time that is recommended between cleanings. One of the problems I have with that particular time period of 2 weeks is that it was created when all beer was filtered and pasteurized. And now that isn't the case. Now beer is being sent out from the brewery with yeast in it. It's being sent out from the brewery with bacteria in it. When in the case of sour beers, it's been sent out the brewery with all kinds of fruit flavorings and spices and herbs and things like that in it. And that is adding to complications in the plastic of the beer line. Now I think that we should be cleaning our lines every week, which is what we do here at Drop-In Brewery, and we actually filter all our beers. There's a lot to be said for regular cleanings or more regular cleanings in the draft trade so that the flavors of one particular beer don't then transfer over to a different beer that's being put on that same line when that first keg runs out. So it's a complicated system. It needs to be installed by someone with some expertise. It needs to be maintained by someone with some expertise. And that way fresh draft beer should then remain the fantastic experience that it can be.